Royals baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. A lot of the big bats that the Royals are used to in a Blue Jays uniform are out of the lineup, but Toronto still scored 11 runs on 13 hits in Game 1. Second game of the doubleheader is coming up next. Well, they say one of the blessings of 162 games over 6 months is that you don't have to dwell or stew on a bad game for very long. You come back and play the very next day, and for the Royals, they come back and play a half hour later after the Blue Jays took Game 1 11-3. So changes for the Royals in Game 2. Mike Moustakas is back at third. He was the DH, and now Lucas Duda will be the designated hitter. Cheslor Cuthbert will slide over to first base. Ryan Goins is at second. Abraham Almonte will be in center field, so Paulo Orlando is out of the lineup. Alcides Escobar at short, and Drew Butera will start Game 2. So we're just talking about Danny Duffy, who's had trouble in the first inning in his last 2 starts, but then has really pulled it together after that. It's been mostly the walks. He hasn't been necessarily knocked all around the ballpark in the first inning. It's been all the walks, 6 walks in the first inning over his last 2 starts. And then after the first inning in his last 2 starts, no walks.
Yeah, you know what? Talking to him about that, asking him, was he overthrowing it, and what was the particular pitch? It looked to me like it was your changeup. He says, yes, I was overthrowing. I wasn't finishing my pitch. I was a little tentative with it, but I've got to be able to make some adjustments to get my team in the game and keep them in there right away. So he knows strike one's going to be really important for him, and finishing hitters off when he has 2 strikes on him.
And there was some talk about Duffy perhaps tipping his pitches, and so he had discussed the possibility of going back to the windup today against the Blue Jays in an effort to better disguise his pitches. So we'll keep an eye out on that.
That's right. We'll take a look at that. But you know what? Tipping your pitches, that's something that you know, somebody usually lets you know, and most of the time it's the hitters. And he figured that out in that White Sox game when he gave up all those home runs and they were tagging him back to back hitters. You know, he felt like they were, you know, it was his changeup they were getting. So look, make some adjustments, whatever you think, but they got to get back in the win column here, and they can't be swept. They got to get this win going here. Get some win.
The Royals' 26th man will be a left-hand reliever, Scott Barlow, whom the Royals picked up during the offseason, so he'll be available in the bullpen. The Blue Jays' 26th man will be right-hander Joe Biagini. Royals have seen him before, just a couple of relief appearances. Last year he was 3-13 as both a starter and a reliever. His ERA was well over 5. He's only pitched once so far this year, and that was 8 days ago against AAA Pawtucket.
Curveball's his best pitch. Hard sinker is going to come at you. He's not going to overpower you, but he will top 93. But he's good in the upper 80s, low 90s, and we'll see if the Royals can find some holes. Defensively, the Blue Jays are behind him. Hernandez is in left. We saw him in game 1. He's got good speed. Pilar, he's an excellent center fielder. Grichuk, same thing, got a good arm too. Game 2, left to right, Solarte, Diaz, Nakope, and Pierce. First base, getting a shot. Maley, the catcher.
There's the crew chief, Ron Kolpa, a Missouri native, grew up in St. Louis and now lives outside of St. Louis. 21 years as a big league umpire. John Tumpane, who got the first game of the doubleheader off, will work the plate. Gabe Morales is at second base. And then the rookie umpire, Jansen Bisconti, who made his big league debut in the first game of the doubleheader, he will be at third. And Biagini, a fastball with some tailing action to it. 0-1 on John Jay. John was 1 out of 5 with a bunt single in the 5th inning.
That would be the sinker. Biagini taking his time out there, making this audition here as a starter. A good opportunity for him. That's what he hopes.
Tough hop on Pierce. Biagini covers and Pierce overshoots him. And John Jay is on again in a first inning this year.
Yeah, and you know what? Pierce had a little more time, and that ball was hit hard again. Another hard hit ball, 2-hopper, and it looked like it came up on the grass a little bit there. And Pierce was able to keep it in front of him, but he rushed the throw. See how the ball's coming up? He's able to stay in front of it. He's panicked a little bit. Ball bounced and stayed down, and then he whipped the throw.
And they're going to score a base hit.
Good for him, John Jay. He'll take it.
Breaking ball is high to Whit Merrifield. He was 1 for 3 with a double and a walk in game 1. Ned Yost has him at right field, one of the 4 positions that he has played this year. If you're talking about positions in the lineup, you can make it 5 because he's also been a designated hitter, but only Whit, Marwin Gonzalez, Ben Zobrist, Hernan Perez, and rookie Scott Kingery are the only big leaguers who have played 4 positions so far this year. 2-1.
Whit, he takes pride in his game defensively and at the plate, and he really does not care where he plays. He says he'd like to get established at second base, but his priority is for his manager and the Royals. He says, I'll do wherever they want me to do, but I'm not thrilled about designated hitter. He made a point to tell me that, and you know what, that's okay, because he doesn't get to do his other half. He doesn't get to field. He loves fielding. That's part of his game. I was a little bit surprised when he was DH last week at the K, and I said, hey man, well he wasn't his normal self. He goes, you don't like it, and he hadn't even done it yet. Nice. All right,
2 on, nobody out. And now Mike Moustakas, he homered in the first game of the doubleheader. And our Kubota power stats, you got that hanging breaking ball from Jaime Garcia. After Moustakas, Lucas Duda went deep. And the first time this year the Royals have hit back-to-back home runs. Moustakas and Duda are the only Royals who have hit home runs this year. The Royals have not had a home run from a right-hand batter yet. And remember, one of the reasons why the Royals signed Lucas Duda and Ryan Goins, for that matter, to a minor league deal, and then eventually brought back Mike Moustakas, is because they felt like they were right-handed heavy. Back to the middle and a base hit. John Jay will be held. And the Royals have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, well, that was with Salvi in there, but Salvi left a big hole on the right side, that's for sure. But there's a nice big hit right up the middle. Good hard hit. I mean, that ball, it was crushed. Good velocity off the end of the bat there. I mean, off the barrel. So they're loaded up. Can they do something here? This is the time to get the pitcher. We all know first innings are rough for pitchers to get started, but there they are, all set up. Mitch Meyer's telling Moose, all right, there's nobody out. See if they can capitalize.
And to your point, Hud, I'll add Jorge Bonifacio to that too. That's another right-hand bat the Royals figured would be in there on opening day.
No question about that. Duda looking early in the count. Biagini, first pitch, he wants to throw a strike.
Royals will take it.
Yes, they will.
So the first 4 have reached, and the Blue Jays are going to use one of their trips to the mound.
Okay, look, that's a slider. He's meant to get it in. Hit him right in the hamstring, right in the hammy. He'll have a little mark there.
And that's the hamstring that's been giving him some trouble lately, his right hamstring.
Yeah, and that's not a good spot for him. Anybody really, as a matter of fact. If it had hit him a little bit higher on the wallet, a lot more padding right there, but didn't. So Biagini, here he is. He's thinking, you know, this is not how I envisioned the first inning to happen. I'm going to have to somehow, some way, try to find a way out.
Cuthbert had 2 singles. He was 2 for 4 in game 1. He also had a key error in that game when the Blue Jays scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 6th. That inning began with a ground ball to Cuthbert, and his throw to first sailed over Lucas Duda, and then the Blue Jays were off and running. A dive and a catch on a short hop by Pierce over at first, and they get the force at home.
Okay, now Biagini almost got hit by Pierce's throw as he was going to cover first base. That wouldn't have been good, but he ducked just in time, and Pierce made up for it with a nice play there. That saved a run, maybe 2, probably 1. Gritchick in right field has a great arm.
And here's a chance for Ryan Goins to burn his former team, coming up with the bases loaded and 1 out. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. That is an old-fashioned hammer, as they used to call it. 12-6 on the clock. That is right over the top from the 6'5" Biagini. So that pitch to a hitter probably seems like it's coming out of the roof. Inside on Goins, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan got a couple of nice ovations in game 1 of the doubleheader. The first one was when he came into the game defensively. The second one when he came to the plate, and he has been outstanding in his career with the bases loaded.
Fantastic jump on the straight one.
Same pitch inside, 2-1.
He's going to go fastball, curveball. Those are the 2 pitches he uses the most.
Johnny, that's it.
Okay, Tom Payne, yeah, that's right. I agree with him. John Gibbons has given Tom Payne a little bit of guff from that dugout. You could hear the conversation going back and forth. Tom Payne said, hey, first inning, he's trying to get settled in too.
Back to Biagini, who bobbles to the plate 1 to first, not in time, and the Royals get a second run.
I'm not so sure that ball would have went. Had it gone through, I mean, it wouldn't have went through the second base. There might have been a double play there. So it's a good thing that Biagini fielded, went to first. Or excuse me, went home, and then Goins was able to beat it out. Good hustle. He'll pick up the ribby.
And now they're loaded up with 2 down for Abraham Almonte. Almonte made the last out of the first game, pinch hitting for John Jay, and grounded sharply to Ngope at third base.
Almonte really would like to get a big hit here, not just for himself, but his team.
Center field, deep, and playable as Pilar backpedals onto the track. So the Royals loaded the bases. They get a run for Duffy. Wishful thinking, but the Royals had the bases loaded, nobody out, and they get 1 on the hit batter. And now here's the Blue Jays batting order against Danny Duffy. The Blue Jays have hit 22 home runs as a team, so even with all those big bats out, they're still a home run hitting team. And strike 1 on Steve Pearce, who is the DH in game 1. Playing at first base in game 2, and that bat hop single in the top of the first inning got the Royals going. John Jay ended up coming around to score when Duda was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Good changeup from Duffy, 1-2.
Well, Duffy's tough to pick up even when he's going from the stretch. But here he is going from the windup, believing that there were some teams that were picking up on a tendency or two with his glove, tipping pitches. But it's going to make him tougher. Good spot right there. It's a nice location there. His changeup's going to be tough to pick up. The fastball, the breaking ball, the 3 main pitches that he uses. And he's confident. He's wanting to stay ahead of hitters. This first inning, get out of it. Nice job. Use the defense. Speaking of defense, which will play a big part in this game, sponsored by Ford. Around the horn. John Jay in left. Almonte getting a center field start. Whitley, where's Whitley? He's in right field, believe that. Cuthbert from right to left. Cuthbert at first base. He's good. He's got good hands. Goins, Escobar, Moose, and Drew Butera is getting a chance to throw a runner or 2 out if they get on. Put down the right signs. That's what he wants to do for Duffy.
Hernandez. We haven't seen a lot of Teoscar Hernandez, but we've learned today that he likes to swing the bat. And that pitch wasn't close, and he chased it nonetheless. He struck out in his first 2 at-bats in game 1, and then had a couple of hits and a couple of runs scored. And he swings at that one and fouls it away.
He's a nice complementary player. He's got great speed, an average arm, and he's got average power. He's not a real power hitter, but he's a good guy to, you know, kind of play some left field until some of their guys get back.
What a catch at third by Mike Moustakas. 2 down.
Wow, Moose did a nice job. He barely caught that in the end of the webbing. Hit him in the palm, actually. Palm first, and then he was able to close it down. That would have been a sure double. .103 coming at you, Moose. He handled it. Turned it into a marshmallow.
And now Justin Smoke, who drove in a run and scored a run in game 1. Two balls and no strikes. Right at the knees at 95. You know, it's easy to say Duffy's going back to the windup just to mix it up and give the hitters a little different work, but it's been a couple years since he's pitched out of the windup.
Yeah, I like it. I think it looks good. I think it's been a good thing for him so far. Watching it, 13 pitches, he's already got 2 outs. He looks crisp. He looks like he has good rhythm, good timing, and his pitches are coming out of his hand very well.
Change-ups a little bit low. 3-2 on Justin Smoke.
Remember in his last outing how he was bouncing those change-ups up there? He wasn't missing by a little. He was missing by 2 or 3 feet. I think the windups got him in a nice little rhythm.
And to his credit, he stayed with that pitch. You know, sometimes a pitcher will say, okay, I don't have my changeup today, let's move on. But as bad as that pitch was in the first inning, eventually he found the right arm slot, and the Mariners had no runs, 3 hits over his next 5 innings. Duffy gave up those 2 runs in the first inning on Wednesday. 1 hit, 3 walks, and then retired 14 of the next 17. And Smoke, after a long plate appearance, is on with a 2-out walk. And now Yangervis Solarte, he had a 2-run home run in the first inning of game 1. Our Toyota League leaders, there they are, the Toronto Blue Jays, 3rd in the American League in home runs, with all those big bats we're accustomed to seeing in the Blue Jays lineup either gone or on the disabled list. And Solarte was going for it all. No balls and 1 strike. The Blue Jays finished 10 games below 500 last year. And believe it or not, they scored the fewest runs in the American League last season. That just seems impossible with the way that they could pile up the runs, especially with the home runs. They had the lowest team batting average in the American League last year. Only the Padres had a lower batting average in the major leagues.
Out.
1-2.
Yep, it's hard to believe a Blue Jays team would have those numbers as low as they were. But Duffy right there, slide step. That was nice. He put a little slide step in there, even though he's not worried about Smoke trying to steal a base on him. Just wanted to test it out. 1-2 to waste 1. Nothing too good here. There you go. Almost got him to swing. Good pitch. Remember, key for him is to finish hitters when he gets 2 strikes on them and keep the pitch count as low as you possibly can. Early.
Change up. So Solarte goes down. Tonight, Duffy has a scoreless first inning. 1-0 Royals. With Escobar, Butera, and Jay coming up. Fox Sports Kansas City is proud to support the Kansas City Sports Commission Awards Banquet. This year's event takes place on Thursday, June 7th, and honors include local Sportsman of the Year, Sportswoman of the Year, and Coach of the Year. For sponsorship and ticket information, go to sportkc.org. sportkc.org. Escobar was 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in game 1. Royals had the bases loaded and nobody out against Biagini in the top of the first inning, and Biagini allowed only 1, and that's when he hit Duda with the bases loaded. Now, we will describe sometimes a two-seam fastball as a sinker, but a lot of those two-seamers, they run more than they sink. This guy's two-seamer sinks.
Yep.
2-2.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't sink till the last minute before it gets to the plate, so the hitter sees it pretty straight. But by the time he hits it, it's on the ground. They're hard to get up underneath, especially if they're hard like that. Doesn't give the hitter enough time. Breaking ball coming here.
Escobar's batting average has dropped down to 149. Full count. Biagini has been used as both a starter and a reliever for the Blue Jays and has done much better out of the bullpen. He is just 2-12 as a starter, and his ERA is almost 6. Heskey on that two-seamer hits a line drive into the crowd off to the right field side. And another foul ball. Escobar had a rough April last year. So did a lot of his teammates. He hit 171 in April last year, but a lot of that had to do with him muscling up and tried to hit for extra bases. I have not seen that from him this April.
No.
That may have been ball 4, but he grounds it out to Ngope. 1 down. Gift and Ngope. We were talking to Jerry Howarth, who just retired as a Blue Jays radio announcer. He was here for 36 years.
36. I wondered how many he had. That's a long time.
He told me that the time he's been here in Toronto, only Roberto Alomar has had the kind of hands of better than 2 other guys at the stadium tonight. Gift and Ngope and Ryan Goins.
Ah, what a compliment.
Solarte makes the play in foul territory, and Drew Butera is out number 2. And now John Jay, who reached with a bat hop single to begin the game and scored the Royals run when Lucas Duda was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Oh, and 2. And now Jay hits it hard with 2 strikes, but he hits it right at Hernandez, and that's the inning. So a much cleaner second inning for Biagini than the first.
Back at Rogers Center, where the Royals have the early lead in the second half of this doubleheader. Joel Goldberg down by the visiting dugout, and yesterday was maybe more bizarre than any day that these players have had. They've become accustomed to dealing with the bad weather. Pitchers need to get their work in, and if that means that it's raining or it's cold, they might still go out and put the layers on and throw. But yesterday, a lot of guys were throwing on cement, down in the service areas, guys like Ian Kennedy and others trying to get their work in, they were not allowed on the field because of safety issues. So Danny Duffy was holding court for what seemed like a good hour, just talking to local photographers, waiting for the go-ahead to get on and get his running in or get whatever work that he needed to get done. He was unable to do that. Eventually, they let players on the field once they had the all clear, and they had to avoid some of the dangerous spots and areas. And needless to say, Danny's been chomping at the bit.
Merrifield into the corner and makes the play on Kevin Pillar for the first out. Well, you can speak to this, HUD, that there is a physical part of your daily routine, and there's almost like a spiritual part of your daily routine where you really don't feel good going into the game until you've checked everything off the list in your preparation routine, right?
Absolutely. And especially in baseball, where it's an everyday performance and you're routine on even your 5th day. We all know you start, but those guys work so hard the other 4 days. It's amazing. That's what makes it so interesting about the Angels pitcher Shohei Ohtani, who's hitting and playing, you know, designated hitter, and then has to pitch. They really have to watch him and make sure that he's given equal time to his routine. But for Duffy, he's very routine oriented.
Escobar and John Jay, and both were calling for it. Esky had his hand in the air to try and get John's attention, but sometimes they're both looking up into the sky. They're both calling for it at the same time. The Royals are lucky they didn't have a collision.
Yeah, and you know, Escobar used to Alex Gordon out there in left field, and Duffy says, all right, no, everybody's okay, we'll take it. And Esky, you know, puts his hand up, but the out was made. That's all that matters.
And now a strike on Randall Grichuk, who becomes a dangerous hitter, even though he's hitting 109. But you take a hitter who's in a deep slump, and then suddenly he gets a double and a 3-run home run, and now that's a confident hitter standing at the plate.
That's right. He's not going to look at his numbers. He's going to just go how he feels.
Two and two. Called third strike. So Duffy's sharp in the first 2 innings. He has only allowed a walk, and he has struck out 2. HUD, may the 4th be with you.
Thank you.
Join fellow Star Wars enthusiasts on Friday, May 4th, as the Royals host the Tigers. Purchase your theme ticket in order to receive a custom Sal Solo bobblehead and bring the whole family to Kauffman Stadium dressed as their favorite characters.
Oh, I get it.
Royals.com/theme tickets. May 4th.
Okay.
Now, which Star Wars characters are those?
That guy, he wanted to be a cowboy, a country western star. One guy. That was his character.
1-1 on Witt. After John Jay reached with an infield single, Merrifield walked. Moustakas singled, and that set up the bases loaded and nobody out. But Biagini allowed only 1 run. 2-1. Three balls, 1 strike.
I think Biagini, he looks like he's got nice, very smooth delivery and good stuff tonight. This ball's moving. He's having a hard time commanding it.
And now Witt walks for a 2nd time. And now Mike Moustakas. If the Royals hit a triple in tonight's game, the Kansas City Honda dealers will make a $1,000 donation to the KC Urban Youth Academy. Biagini shakes off the changeup and wants to throw a fastball to Mike Moustakas, and that fastball is hammered left center field, deep and off the top of the wall. Merrifield rounds 3rd. He will score on a double by Mike Moustakas, and the Royals lead 2-0.
And once again, the moose is loose north of the border. Unbelievable. What a nice read by Whitley. He knew no one was going to catch that ball, so he took off. He didn't have to wait, thinking they might catch it with nobody out. Look at that swing. Great head position. Moose keeping his hands inside the ball, using the whole field. Call the cops. Moose is loose, no doubt.
Oh, man, that was inches from the
Yeah,
home run.
I mean, that was easily could have been an opposite field homer from Moose. Look at him checking the outfielders. You see that? Tells me he's running well and he wants to score on a base hit. His legs feel good. No pain in his surgically repaired knee. Good swing.
See, I told you it was 2-0 Royals.
There you go. Had a hard time with all those putouts at home. Look at Whitley. Whitley got him a little bead of sweat working here in game 2 early.
Oh, 2 on Lucas Duda. So this is the 11th time in the Royals' first 15 games where they have had the lead.
Yeah, we've seen this picture before. Nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
You want to score first.
Mike Moustakas is now hitting .362. Biagini gets a strikeout. That's his first.
Nice pitch. He pulls the string on the changeup. It started in the middle of the plate and moved away. Look at the movement he's getting. Good stuff.
Chesler came up with the bases loaded, nobody out, and a run in the first inning, and hit a sharp ground ball to the right side. And the biggest play of that inning for the Blue Jays was a diving stop by Pierce, who realized he had one out, so he came to the plate. And then Goins came up and he grounded back to the mound, and Biagini went to the plate. And those two ground balls were the difference between one run for the Royals and a big inning for the Royals. Blocked by Maley. Luke Maley is the Blue Jays catcher in game 2. Fouled away.
It looks like he had a little trouble with the runner at second base and beyond last year. Biagini, 350 average, but you know, he'll be quick to tell you that's last year. Says, I'm going to make my pitch right here. Chesler, he's looking for something out over the plate, but anything that's a little close, he's got to be hacking. The Royals scuffling, hitting with runners in scoring position. Can't afford to take one look at any time now with a runner at second and beyond. Ooh, yeah, that was a little bit off. You want to stretch your zone, but not that much.
Two and two with one out. Biagini strikes out his second. That is a big curveball.
Yeah, he's thrown a couple of good off-speed pitches. Look at that. That's called a yellow hammer, and it's really accentuated by the yellow tracer this year. Literally, it is a yellow hammer. Look at that. It starts head high and ends up ankle high. That's a beauty. And it'll lock you up if you're a hitter, because you see it coming up out of, you know, eye high, and then you're committed to swing. That thing just dropped out of the sky.
You got Goins to chase a fastball down. That was Biagini's 50th pitch.
I was just informed that a yellow hammer is a bird. But in the baseball, you know, terms in the dugout, we don't know about bird language, but we know what a yellow hammer is. And when you say that, they go, uh-oh. You don't like to hear that term.
Yeah. I don't know the stat on it, but by my estimation, there are very few baseball players who are fluent in bird language.
That's what I'm saying. Well, maybe Mark Fidrich was. He used to talk.
Paul Bird.
Paul Bird, yeah. Ooh.
See, I always thought when you use the term hammer with a curveball that it was just like when you swing a hammer, you're just going right over the top.
Yeah,
right.
And that is a term you could use from a hammer, but I always thought it was the part you pull out the nail had the little
the claw on the back of the hammer.
The claw. But you know what though? It could be interpreted any way, I'm sure.
I'd be curious to know how high, and this is a 6'5" pitcher, how high that release point is with his curveball, where it starts and where it finishes.
Yeah, it's as good a one as we've seen all year.
I mean, you're not talking about inches with his pitch, you're talking about feet. Change up, that was a swing. So the Royals get a run, but Biagini works around A runner at second and nobody out. Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep brand lineup at the Jeep Spring Sales Event. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. This is Luke Maley, Blue Jays backup catcher. I hope that little guy's a long way away from home plate. 2-0 on Luke Maley. Russell Martin started game 1. It was 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. That'll be back into the crowd. It'll be Maley, then Ngope and Pierce. Good fastball. Duffy's velocity appears to be up, and he's getting that late zip on his fastball too.
I'm telling you, I like the windup a lot. That might be a reason his velocity is up, but it could be the weather too. But still, he looks smooth, he looks confident, and he hasn't had any command issues. He's mixing up his 3. They all look good. He's mixed in a slide step. Looks good. Little breaking ball. See how he handles this one.
3-2. Chase ball 4. You bring it up all the time that don't let the umpire make a decision with the count 3-2, and I would think that's especially true when you're a backup player.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you want to impress by putting the bat on the ball, not necessarily by taking a walk.
Yeah, man, you're right. And he's competing here.
Wasn't hit high enough for Chesler to have the chance to run over there and reach into the crowd.
Yeah, and Maley 10th pitch coming. He's doing exactly what he wants to do. Battle. See as many pitches as you possibly can. You don't have many at bats when you see this many pitches. He's trying to find a swing and miss pitch.
He didn't chase that one. So he gets the walk nonetheless. Duffy has walked 2. T-shirt Tuesdays are back, and our first giveaway will be April 24th, presented by Miller Lite. The first 20,000 fans through the gates, age 21 or older, can sport their Royals pride with a 1969 expansion team throwback T-shirt. And you can see all of this year's designs at royals.com/T-shirt Tuesday. Gift and Gope. No balls, 2 strikes. He struck out looking and is only at bat in game 1. Much more of a fielder at this point of his career than a hitter. Backdoor breaking ball, and Duffy strikes out his 3rd.
You know, in Gope's in defense of him, the 2 times we've seen him at the plate tonight, they pitched him like he was Babe Ruth. Look at the corners. I mean, that's just how it is sometimes. Guy comes in, doesn't get a chance to play, and wouldn't you know it, they throw some pitches that are painted on the black. And good stuff. Tough luck. Good spot by Duffy.
0-1 on Pierce. The Royals were burned a couple of times with the overshift in game 1 with right-hand batters at the plate, and they're shifted on Pierce. Moustakas, Escobar, and Goins are all on the left side of the infield. So you play the percentages and you heavily defend the area where you think the hitter is going to hit it. However, when you do this, it makes it very difficult if you get a ground ball to turn a double play. It makes for an awkward play for Goins, the second baseman, because he'll have to run to second. If the ball's hit to the left side, he'll be running in one direction and looking in the other direction to receive the throw.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the overshift is that exactly. Now, if the ball is hit to Cuthbert, he's going to be the cover guy at second.
So he goes the other way. Witt plays it off the wall, and Maley will go to third. They almost got Pierce at second base, and give Witt a little bit of credit. Hud, remember when you pointed out that he identified as a runner right away on the Moustakas double that it wasn't going to be caught? Well, now he did a good job of convincing Maley that he was going to catch it, and Maley hesitated as that ball was hit to right field.
Yeah, you could tell that Pierce got all of it. It was a breaking ball, and he hit it hard, and Whitley knew he wasn't going to catch it. So what did he do? He kept his face towards home plate, and the runner wasn't sure exactly what he was doing. Looked like Whitley had a beat on it and turned around and played it off the wall. Nice try. There's one out. Duffy's going to try to help Duffy. He's got to get him on his own here.
Hernandez, boy, he likes to swing the bat, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's up there swinging last time up.
So I don't know if a catcher is going to score from first on a ball hit off the wall there, but if Maley had recognized right away and wasn't watching Witt but was watching the ball, he may have been able to go, but his hesitation only allowed him to get to third.
No, that goes along with the definition of Whitley Merrifield. He's a baseball player. He knows how to play the game. He's smart. Okay, watch Maley. Let's see what he does. Okay, he's like, well, he's not sure. Look at him. He stopped even.
If he puts his head down, now again, we're not talking about a fast runner, but if he puts his head down right away and goes, who knows? Maybe he scores.
Yeah, that's a nice play. Let's see if Duffy can help him out here. Help himself.
A slow roller, and Duffy lets it roll and then makes sure it doesn't spin back to the line. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, but you could hear it, and you could see it. You could hear them talking to each other. Let it roll, let it roll. But so far in the first game, now that was that second bounce that really kicked it left. The ball's been staying fair. It hadn't looked like it's affected any the turf or the dirt. It hadn't affected it, but Duffy got a little break there. They would have gotten on the board. Can help himself with a strikeout here.
Good pitch, and the free swinging Hernandez laid off that one. He lined out to Moustakas in the first inning. Moustakas had little to no reaction time and left his feet to make the play. Slide step. Skips away from Drew, but not far enough for Maile to come down the line. 3-2.
Nice job. You know, I mentioned it in game 1. Drew sat in the front row, and he was making notes and stuff on their hitters against Skoglund, the left-hander for the Royals. So he was making his game plan, and Duffy and him probably went over the game plan before game 1, but they didn't have enough time in 20 minutes in between games to sit down and have any kind of a game plan. So Drew had to do it on the fly, and that's why he said he was going to be so attentive in that first game, watching and writing some things down. And he's calling the game. Now he got him to swing at that. He thought he could get a strikeout.
The way he was swinging earlier in the count, I mean, I figured he was going to chase one of those pitches. But to his credit, after being down 1 ball 2 strikes, Hernandez walks. So the Blue Jays have 2 walks and a double. And now Drew and Danny will talk things over before facing Justin Smoak. Maile is at third. Pierce is at second. Hernandez is at first. And Justin Smoak walked in the first inning, and he's done very well this year against left-hand pitching.
Yes, and last year as well. He's tough out here. Now he got a hit in the first game with a situation like this to the right side because they're giving it to him. They're over shifting him to play to pull, and he's a guy maybe early in the count he might try to swing and try to drive one, but he's become such a prolific hitter now of knowing what he can do and what he can't do. Wouldn't surprise me to take a shot to right.
Here's a chance for 2. Going, steps on the bag, double play. So would Maile have scored on that double if Whit Merrifield didn't deke him? Who knows? But Duffy gets out of it with a 4-3 inning-ending double play.
Sweet, that'll work.
RBIs for Duda and Moustakas. Remember, if you can't catch a game on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Royals. It's presented by T-Mobile. Abraham Almonte, Alcides Escobar, and Drew Butera are coming up. Top of the 4th inning. Royals lead 2-0. The Blue Jays took game 1 11-3. Almonte flied to center field in the 1st inning. One ball, one strike. Bunted, but bunted hard, and Pierce is close enough to the bag for the out. If he bunts that to the second baseman that hard, he might have a base hit.
Yep.
Time for our sprint trivia question. Name the 5 Hall of Famers to play for either the 92 or 93 world champion Blue Jays. I can name 3 right away.
Well, you know what? If you want to catch up in the win column, go ahead.
Right.
Just name them. And I'll try to pick up the slack.
Jack Morris.
Okay. That's a winner.
Paul Molitor.
Nice.
Dave Winfield.
Okay, let me have one then. Let me have Alomar. I'll take Alomar, and there's one more, right? So you
know that wasn't.
win.
You know what? That wasn't very fair. That wasn't fair.
No.
If we get this, we should both get a point here.
No.
Because you just sat back and you just let me rattle them off. You would have gotten some of those.
I would have not.
You wouldn't have gotten any of those 3 guys?
Okay, I would have. How about who are they again? Winfield, Molly. Oh,
Jack Morris.
How about Roger? Oh,
Roger Clemens. He came later than that. Strike 1.
and he's not a Hall of Famer either yet. He will be. Matter of time.
2-2 on Escobar. He grounded to second in the 2nd inning. Solarte fields, unloads quickly, and Escobar is out by a half step. 2 down. Let's see, last one. Drew Butera fouled out to the 3rd baseman Solarte in the 2nd inning.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Did you get a clue, or are you just talking to yourself?
I'm talking to myself.
Okay.
Do that a lot.
Okay. Drew bloops it into right field, and he's on with 2 down. Well, go ahead. I mean, if,
well, it's 92 and 93. Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Okay. I'm thinking out loud again.
Okay.
Ricky Henderson wasn't on any one of them teams, was he?
He was.
Okay.
Nice,
I
Hud.
thought. All right.
I think we should both get a point there.
You do? Well,
yeah.
And nothing for the truck, but that's a nice question. I like it.
Okay, I've been told by Kevin Cedergren that we're going to get half points for that.
Okay.
Because I got 3 and you got 2, but you allowed me to rattle off 3 in a row.
This
yes,
is
you did.
your booth. I'm just a guest. I want, you need to catch up because I've gotten a few of those.
Oh, here we go. Now we're trash talking. Fine, I'll take the point. It's kind of like when the official score gives you a hit that should be an error. You say, fine, I'll take it.
Okay.
1-2 on John Jay.
Now, how does that look? It's a half.
That's
All
fair.
right. Yeah,
That's fair.
all right. We'll take it. Let's just keep the truck off the board as best we can. That's all that matters.
I don't think I would have gotten Ricky Henderson. I would have needed some hints.
I knew he was a Blue Jay, but I wasn't sure if it was in those 2 years.
Kevin just told me that he remember when Joe Carter hit the World Series winning home run against Mitch Williams?
Yep.
Ricky Henderson led off that inning with a walk.
Ah.
We were talking about Jerry Howarth, who just retired after 36 years.
As a radio broadcaster. Huh?
The original voice of the Blue Jays, Tom Cheek, had one of the greatest home run calls ever when Joe Carter won it. Two balls, two strikes. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. That's his name on the Ring of Honor, very similar to Arrowhead Stadium. And the reason they have 4306 next to Tom Cheek's number is because he once broadcast that many games in a row.
Ooh.
John Jay gets hit with the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and let's see if the Royals can put something together with 2 down. 4,306 consecutive Blue Jays broadcasts without taking a day off.
That's impressive.
I mean, can you sum up a home run and what Joe Carter was going through? And when he was saying it, Joe Carter's jumping up and down like a wild man, as you should when you win the World Series with a home run. Well, touch them all, Joe.
Yeah.
You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
And that's spontaneous.
Yep.
You can't plan for something like that. He had no idea that he was going to hit a walk-off homer.
Ball 1 on Witt. And every time I see Joe, who lives in Kansas City, I say, touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
And he never did. Not a bigger one.
Witt has walked twice and scored one of the Royals' runs. Good rip at a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. With 2 outs and nobody on, Butera singled, and Jay was hit by a pitch. One and 2.
Good swing on the breaker there. Stayed on it. Might have been a heater.
Royals teams in recent years were not really known for power. They were not known for walks, but they were known for coming through with runners in scoring position. And so far this year, that has been a struggle. Two and 2. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Whitley's battling. That was a changeup he didn't want to swing at, but he's already committed. Biagini got 2 quick outs, and then he's been struggling to finish him off here.
On the ground to short. Diaz flips to Ngope for the 4th. So the Royals get 2 runners with 2 outs, but come up empty. 2-0 KC.
I like what you see with Duffman so far. He's been on the mark, and obviously you guys talked about his change from going from the stretch to the windup. And when you make adjustments, if it works early, that confidence is with you, and you see it with Danny Duffy tonight.
You could see it on the first hitter. I like the way all of his pitches are coming out of his hand. It looks good, it looks confident, and he looks free and easy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times there's a concern that maybe velocity is an issue when you're pitching from the windup versus a stretch, and certainly with Danny, maybe mentally he feels a little bit better confidence-wise with that velocity on the fastball.
But I like where he's putting his pitches too.
Yeah, it's all about location. I mean, it doesn't matter if you throw 85 or 95 like Danny Duffy. If you're able to command the fastball, it sets up your other pitches. You can then expand the strike zone, get guys swinging and missing. And so far tonight, we've seen a lot of that from Danny.
And now the fielding Danny Duffy takes care of Solarte. I know he's been pitching out of the windup his entire life, Monty, but he hasn't at all the last 2 years. And I was saying early in the broadcast that it's not so simple to say, okay, I'm going to go back to the windup and see what happens tonight. I mean, that can still be an adjustment, right?
It can be, and I think the biggest thing is you have a little bit of an issue with regards to the confidence, with regards to, you know, and the reason for the change is maybe a concern that he's tipping his pitches. And when that little guy in your brain starts giving you that little bit of doubt that maybe they are picking something up with your pitches, you feel like you have to make a change. And then when it works, when you start getting results, it compounds in a good way. And so far tonight, we've seen it with Danny.
And after the White Sox appearance, where they tagged him 4 or 5 hitters in a row, that's when a pitcher will go, wow, how are they meeting me just like that? They're barreling me.
Yeah, we'll take a little look at his delivery. The whole key is getting to balance. And you see when he gets that right leg up to its highest point, he's able to stop and then get his momentum going toward home plate. It doesn't matter if you pitch him to windup or to the stretch. You have to get to that point of balance in order to get the momentum going toward your target.
Two and two on Pilar.
It's kind of ironic we're in Toronto talking about the fact that sometimes a pitcher has an idea that the opposition has something on his pitches, that he's tipping his pitches. It happened to me here. Pat Borders was catching for us for the Royals, and he told me I was having some struggles, and he said, "You'll see a base hit here, you know, a base runner." But he was telling me that, hey, we had something on you in Toronto. We had something where you're tipping your pitches. And he goes, there's a filing cabinet there. He goes, when we go to Toronto, I'll go to that filing cabinet and I'll figure out what it is. So sure enough, I'm like, I can't wait to get to Toronto because I want to find out what am I doing to tip my pitches. So we get to Toronto, and every day here I tell Pat Borders, go to that filing cabinet, find out what's going on. And he never did it. Never did it. And I have a feeling that he was concerned that maybe someday I'm going to be facing him, and he didn't want to tell me the little secret.
Yeah, and that's the truth. Hitters will not tell if they know, and they don't want to because they're thinking about themselves and their numbers and how I can beat you.
Tell the Charles Johnson Al Leiter story.
Yeah, no, it was not Leiter. It was another lefty. It wasn't Leiter. I'm trying to think about it. Think of his name. Anyway,
for the Marlins, right?
Yes,
and they were on their way to the playoffs.
Yeah, left-hander. Anyway, I had him all season. I had his pitches. He would wiggle his finger. He would wiggle his finger on a breaking ball, and when he wouldn't wiggle it, it was a fastball. And I was like 5 for 8 off the guy. And then the last game of the season, we're in Philly, we're out of it, and I'm at the end of my career. That's the only way I would have said something, Monty. I got in there, and I already had 3 hits off the guy, and I'm going in for my 4th at bat, and I looked at Charles Johnson, the catcher of the Marlins, and I said, I got him. And I got another base hit on him. Okay, so I'm 4 for 4 off of him. The game's over. I'm doing the post-game show with Harry Callis, and he comes through our clubhouse. Charles Johnson comes through our clubhouse. He comes out to me, and I'm seeing him come out of our clubhouse, and I'm going, what the heck's he want to fight? What, you know, what's the deal? And so he comes running up to me and he goes, hey, we're going to the playoffs. I need to know. You told me you got him. Could you please help me? We're trying to win a World Series. Sure enough, they won a World Series that year in '97. And he goes, we need to. Tony Saunders was the lefty. Okay. That was his name. And so he said, what is it? And I go, all right, I'll tell you. And reluctantly. And I saw him in the playoff game, Saunders making a start, and he had a patch sewn over his finger hole. So they took care of that. Because little things like that can really ruin you and make you or break you. But I wasn't going to give it up.
Did they send you a World Series ring?
No, they should have. But, you know, they got Darren Dalton because I couldn't play right field. Anyway, here's Duffy.
Yeah, this is just pure stuff. Really like the way he mixes up that pitch. Change up for him could be a dominant pitch. And work that fastball on the inside. That mix alone, Danny could pitch off of.
Now, he's comfortable in this situation. He likes this from the stretch.
Guys, one thing about Danny Duffy tonight, to me, it's almost as though he realizes the importance of breaking this losing streak. Find a way to be that staff leader, to go out there, get my team an opportunity to win a ball game. He's so far throwing zeros on the board. But I really felt like Danny was on a mission, especially after the way his first 3 starts have gone. Just really one bad inning, and most of those starts have been, you know, the difference.
I mean, you know, you just kind of like him. What he's doing, his rhythm. I'm seeing a smooth, fluid delivery that really looks confident, and hitters see that. If I can see it, the Blue Jays can see it, and he's keeping them off balance with his 3 pitches. Look at that. He didn't know what was coming. Let's check out the delivery. Now, if you could freeze it right when he gets right there, if you could stop it right there, you know, and you could. I mean, obviously this is a straight line, but if you saw him from the side, you'd be able to draw a straight line. It's all about balance over the rubber.
And that's exactly where he is at that point when he stops, and he's then allowed to change direction, get the momentum going toward home plate.
And you know, Monty, drawing a balance of a hitter when he's in his swing, it's very similar.
Oh, absolutely.
The pitcher's job is to get the hitter off balance. And when the pitcher's not right on his balance, he makes mistakes to the hitter, and the hitter gets him.
And the biggest mistake pitchers make, I don't care if it's a little leaguer or a big leaguer, they get a little too fast. They try to rush, they try to overthrow, and they get out of balance. a little bit like there on that slide step. We saw Danny maybe got a little bit out ahead of himself, and then the arm doesn't catch up and you push the ball. Normally it ends up either in the middle or above the strike zone like we saw right there.
And thankfully it was above the strike zone. 1 and 2 count. When you're ahead, you don't want to leave a cookie in there.
Exactly.
Good change up. So Duffy has 5 strikeouts and 4 scoreless innings. He will lead off the 5th inning. Mizzou fans, your chance to show your Royals and Tigers pride is coming up. Purchase your theme ticket at royals.com/Mizzou for this exclusive cap. It's Friday, April 27th. Mizzou night presented by Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Inside to Moustakas, who is singled and has an RBI double. Moustakas, Duda, and Cuthbert. One ball, 1 strike. The Royals scored their first run in the 1st inning. Lucas Duda was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. And then Moustakas hit the RBI double in the 3rd. So the Royals lead 2-0, but imagine Biagini feels lucky that it's just 2-0. Look at Hud with his Mizzou colors on tonight.
Hey, you know what? As a matter of fact, you told me that you were going to read the Mizzou read tonight, and I said, you know what? Then I got to put on their colors. So as long as you give me a little heads up, you know, I'll know what college to represent. Now, Monty, neither one of them colleges that are in our area, all these great schools, Nebraska, KU, K-State, Mizzou, none of them would take me because I just have a high school diploma and barely got out of high school. But I feel like I'm a part of it all, though, because we have so many nights at the K. I think it's great that they have that promotion with all the colleges around there. It's pretty special.
Well, obviously a hotbed of sports, especially college sports.
Yeah.
in the region.
I love it.
Now, when I saw you in your yellow shirt, I thought that was in reference to the Yellowhammer tonight.
Did you speak bird language when you were a player?
No, I saw a lot of birds kind of dive down for the food, which, you know, the Yellowhammer is where that came from, but.
No, but you know what? Biagini's got one, and I tell you what, nobody wants to see it. And when you would mention that word, Those that's 2 words, I guess. Yellowhammer. Yeah. You go back to the dugout and mention 2 words. The hitters are going, oh no.
Who had the best yellowhammer you ever faced?
I'm going to tell you, and I hope he's listening, Mike Boddicker. I hope Bod's listening. Now, Bod, I'm not putting you in Doc Gooden's league, but Doc Gooden had the best yellowhammer, but Boddicker's was a lot bigger. It was slower and bigger and harder to hit.
Yeah, he could cast it out there.
Oh, it started up over my head. It was like 3 feet over my head, and he threw it for a strike early in the count. So now you're stepping out and going, okay, I can hit that. And then he throws it a little bit lower, but it bounces. It was terrible. I hated that pitch.
And Gope from shallow right field gets Duda. Did you ever see?
I love Mike Boddicker, but I hated his pitch.
Did you ever see Burt Blyleven's curveball?
Fortunately not. I would have liked to have been a victim of his. Any Hall of Famer, you know, it'd be nice to say that he struck me out. Or just went in there and, you know, faced him.
I saw Burt from behind the plate when I was in college. I went up to see the Pittsburgh Pirates play, and I was right behind home plate, and I saw that curveball. I'm like, that is impossible to hit.
Yeah, you can't hit it, so if you're going to see it now, Biagini's only throwing it tonight when he has 2 strikes on the hitter. And if you're a hitter and you see it coming, better off just taking it. It's really hard to square up.
Ready.
Pitch is making a comeback. Very few pitchers for a long time threw a curveball. Almost everybody threw a slider, and now slowly but surely we're seeing more traditional curveballs.
I think one reason for that is there's so many power arms, and when you have that greater difference in the velocity, bigger separation between the fastball and the curveball, it just makes it that much better of a pitch. And the fastball and slider, the separation not quite as much. But and oftentimes they will say that if you have a good curveball, it's hard to have a good slider and vice versa. And some guys fortunately have the ability, you know, to throw both of those pitches.
That's Chesler's 3rd hit in this doubleheader, and he's on with 2 outs. So if we had a conversation right now about who has the best curveball right now in the major leagues, I mean, when was the last time you had that conversation? I mean, it's hard to evaluate that pitch because for so long, very few guys didn't throw it.
I think, you know, Verlander. Who's the other right-hander on there? McCullers?
McHugh.
Yeah, McHugh.
Yeah, McHugh's got a really good one.
Yeah, those 2 guys come to mind. You know, Verlander's got a nice
too.
He's got a snappy. Yeah, all those guys on that rock. Oh, while we're on them, how about their guy Cole?
Garrett Cole?
Yeah, he's pretty good too. So we just named their whole rotation.
They're pretty stacked.
Yeah, they are.
Two.
0-2 on Goins, who turns and talks that pitch over with home plate umpire John Tumpane. Goins is grounded into a fielder's choice and struck out. Biagini strikes out Goins. That's his 4th. Still 2-0 Royals. 2-0 Royals. Danny Duffy will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for a second time tonight. Look at our Kia drive to success. And this is how Danny Duffy has gotten his strikeouts. 3 with his changeup, 2 with his breaking ball. He has allowed only 2 hits in 4 innings. He has walked 3, including the man at the plate right now, Luke Mailey, who certainly earned his walk. It took 10 pitches. And Mailey led off the 3rd with a walk, and now he leads off the 5th. Blue Jays have had one scoring threat against Duffy. After Mailey walked in the 3rd, eventually the Blue Jays loaded the bases with 1 out. And then Danny got just in smoke to ground into a double play. Still 2-2.
Guys, one thing I've noticed about Danny Duffy tonight is in some of his previous starts, he had really struggled, not with walks necessarily, but he was missing his target, bouncing a lot of pitches. I mean, literally, 58-foot pitches. Tonight, I've not seen him when he's missed around the strike zone. So it's to me a nice adjustment for Danny to make, to where he's really consistently around the plate, because how does, as a hitter, if guys are bouncing pitches, you're not swinging at those pitches, so you're working more deeper into counts and just forcing yourself to throw a lot more pitches when you're really wild.
Yeah, and then this is a nice changeup. He's had a good changeup all night, but then I know as a hitter, the only pitch that he has comfort in and that he has confidence in is his fastball, and he's going to throw the heater, and I'm looking for the heater. I'm spitting on all the off-speed stuff because he can't throw it for a strike.
Right. If you can't locate those off pitches, I mean, it doesn't matter what your fastball is.
Exactly.
And they work so much hand in hand and together. You have to have the fastball going to expand the zone with those off pitches.
Oh, 2 on Ngope, and he struck out swinging at that pitch in the 3rd inning against Duffy. Three pitches, and down he goes. And Duffy has struck out 7.
And in Ngope, it's just not his day.
I don't know if he's ever seen one of these sliders.
That is wicked. Yeah, now, Monty, I'm going to just say that looks like a breaking ball. In Ngope, you got to go.
Look a little bit like a Danny Jackson slider.
Oh, man, don't even bring him up, because that slider I saw, I had to make a quick trip to the bathroom after that. I didn't know what the heck to do, Monty, because I'd never seen anything like that before. And that was in Double-A. I wasn't even in the big leagues, and I could tell that was a big league slider. And of course, Danny Jackson went on to become a great pitcher in the big leagues. But I remember walking back to that dugout going, what the heck was that? And I told my teammates that, you're in trouble, man.
That ball's hit a mile and foul. That's in the 5th deck.
You think, Rhino, when that person came to the ballpark and sat up there, they expected to get a foul ball?
I think this would be a great seat to get a souvenir. What do you think? This place opened in the middle of the '89 season, and I remember the Oakland A's were here for the playoffs, and Jose Canseco hit a home run into that 5th deck for the first time, and nobody had ever seen anything like that before. The 5th deck. Moustakas throws out Pierce. 3 up, 3 down for Duffy in the bottom of the 5th. Thank you, Monty.
You bet.
Appreciate it, money.
Almonte will lead off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Marion Craig from Independence, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Marion wins $1,500. A grand slam out of the park and Marion wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Always make sure and say Independence, Missouri, because Toby Cook, Royals Vice President of Community Affairs and television legend in Kansas City, is from Independence, Kansas.
Ooh. Go
Abraham
ball.
Almonte into straightaway center field. And $1,500 is on its way to Independence, Missouri. Congratulations to Marion Craig. That's our first Sonic Slam home run of the season, and the Royals lead 3-0 in the 6th.
Marion, way to go. We'll take it. Almonte. You know, he almost hit one with the bases loaded his first time up. And then this one was a no-doubter. All homers hit by Royals are left-handed hitters. We got to get the righties to check in now.
So congratulations to Marion Craig.
It's the only home run outside of Duda or Moose. They'll take him anyway, any side of the plate. It doesn't matter. Duffy, he's dealing, but he needs some extra runs. We've seen Kansas City leads early all this season. We've seen that only fall apart. We've got to hold on for one.
Escobar pokes it into right field. Grichuk is there, and Eske is 0 for 3. Well, this is a guy who was a prospect with the Yankees, traded over to the Mariners, and 4 years ago he was their opening day center fielder and leadoff man. He had very little big league experience, and then went to the Padres and was playing well for the Indians, and they were looking forward to him having a full season, and then he was suspended for testing positive and violating Major League Baseball's performance enhancing drug policy. That really hurt him and the Indians, but he has speed, he has some power, which you just saw, and he can play all 3 outfield positions. Diaz circles around that ground ball to get some forward momentum and throws out Butera, and Drew is 1 for 3.
Folks, MLB At Bat is your #1 Royals app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Royals home screen icons, features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live broadcast from the radio, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. Hey, hey, for Amante.
Changeup is high to John Jay. He singled to open the game and score the Royals' first run. He's also lined out to left, and he's been hit by a pitch. 1-1. Biagini is up over 100 pitches. It's only the second time he has pitched this year, and the first time was 8 days ago at AAA. And in that game, he only threw 80 pitches. So a pretty good jump for him tonight at 103. Two and two. Full count. Merrifield on deck. And John Jay comes back and reaches with a walk, and John Gibbons is out of the Blue Jays dugout. Danny Barnes, a right-hander, is warming up out there. That was a third walk given up by Biagini. So the 26th man for the doubleheader. Barnes goes 5 2/3, and now, or Biagini does, and now Barnes and a Chevy call to the bullpen. He gives up 3, still responsible for John Jay at first base, and here is Danny Barnes, a former 35th round draft pick of the Blue Jays out of Princeton. And he'll get Whit Merrifield with John Jay at first base and 2 down. Whit has walked twice and scored a run.
Well, got a little 3/4 sidearm, little arm slot anyway. He's not way sidearm, but he's 3/4. 90 to 95 mile an hour sinking hard fastball. That one didn't sink, and he's got a slider to change.
One and one on Whit. One and two.
It's not really sinking. It's up in the zone. Barnes is a 2-seamer. It's up there. It's got it by Whitley.
Two and two. Thinking of Princeton, it immediately reminds me of Chris Young, who played a big role for the Royals in 2015. And I was wondering how many players from Princeton have made it to the big leagues. 30.
Wow. More than you or I thought.
Many from the very early years of Major League Baseball. Barnes comes on and strikes out Merrifield to end the 6th inning, but the Royals take a 3-0 lead on Abraham Almonte's first home run as a Royal. Three 3-0 Royals, and Pizza Ranch will show us Danny Duffy's line. Only 2 hits allowed in 5 innings with 7 strikeouts. And now ground ball up the middle. Escobar fields, turns all the way around and gets it to Cuthbert. And 1 pitch, 1 out against the free swinging Teoscar Hernandez.
Escobar's been waiting for one of these all year. 3-hopper, 4-hopper, worm burner, and he's able to show those light feet. He spins around 360. Never gets tired of watching him and his footwork. He's got great feet. And I ask him all the time, even though I already know. I say, Esky, you got great hands. You got a really good throwing arm, and you got great feet. What's the best tool you have? He goes, my feet. As a shortstop, middle infielder at this level, You've got to be able to move left, right, in, back quickly. So if you want to work your feet, jump rope, play a running sport like soccer, basketball, anything that's going to get your feet moving. Because the feet are the motor. That's your motor. You got to move the motor. Get the motor going and work the feet. And he uses those rubber cleats too. He doesn't like this metal.
Someone once told me that an infielder fields with his feet, he receives with his hands.
Yep, that guy was right. Whoever told you that.
And it's not just good feet to be able to increase your range and get to the ball, but to put yourself in a position where you're not getting a bad hop.
Yeah, tennis is another sport like that. In order to hit a tennis ball correctly, when the guy returns the ball to you, you have to get over there and get your feet in position to set and hit. So I had a tennis coach train me in the off season on getting in position with my feet on a tennis court. And it's the same thing. Any kind of sport that allows you to move your feet is going to help you. And jumping rope's good too, because you know you're working timing and you're working your feet up and down. So, you know, racket ball,
right?
You know, a lot of sports can help you become agile. Look at Duffy. Duffy's cruising now.
That's his first strikeout with a fastball, and he has 8 total.
Wow.
In 5 2/3 innings.
Let's show you a Mo lottery replay right here. Heater, there you go, straight, right over the top, but well placed. That's on the inner half. And what's happening here against a good hitting Blue Jays team is a good pitcher who's locating and changing speeds. And when you get good pitching, it will nullify good hitting. That's what we're seeing.
Duffy's coming up on 100 pitches. So Brad Keller warms up in the Royals bullpen. Yangervis Solarte drove in 4 in game 1. He is 0 for 2 in this game. 2 balls and 1 strike. On Wednesday against Seattle, Danny threw a season high 101 pitches. Broken bat and foul. Those two have been practicing that all night. The ball boy deflecting it with his glove to the guy right behind him. Well done.
Well, Ned Yost was talking before the game about the importance of a starting pitcher trying to go as deep in the game as possible to help him save his bullpen. On nights of a doubleheader, that's probably the biggest headache for a manager, or one of them. I mean, he's got to be able to find out which position players are going to play in both games, but it's worrying about his bullpen. Thank you. I'll take that.
Goins wants it. And Danny Duffy has 6 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts. The Royals lead 3-0. to Detroit, and that is Victor Martinez with an opposite field home run against the Orioles' Andrew Kashner. Detroit leads 3-2. They're in the top of the 7th inning, and that's where the Royals will head after the late afternoon game tomorrow. The Royals will have an off day Thursday in Detroit. They'll play a day-night doubleheader on Friday to kick off that series. So 4 games in 3 days. And Danny Duffy looks like he's done for the night. And Cal Eldred can smile after his 6 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts.
Cal saying, what did you think about going from the windup tonight? You know, we talked about that, how that was going to help you, it was going to settle you a little bit. And Duffy saying, yeah, you know what? It felt good. As long as we win, it'll feel even better.
Danny Barnes stays in for the 7th inning. Mike Moustakas goes down and strokes it into right center field. Didn't quite get it off the fat part of the bat, but he has 2 hits tonight and has a 9-game hitting streak, which includes 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. Barnes came on with 2 outs in the 6th and struck out Merrifield for the final out. And now with 1 out, he'll get Lucas Duda. Lucas took one for the team, as we used to say, when he was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 1st inning. So he gets an RBI, his 10th. Otherwise, he is 0 for 2. You say that in Little League and high school when a pitcher's inside with, come on, take one for the team.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, he got that flush right on the hammy, which is right on the backside.
Much easier to say from the dugout than it is when you're in the batter's box.
That's right. But I like Duda's swings. I like what he brings. You know, he's good in the clubhouse. He's an easy guy to like. You know, he's a nice acquisition. Now it was late, you know, when the Royals signed him, but he said he likes everything about Kansas City. He likes the way the organization's run. He likes Ned Yost. Ooh, tough pitch there. Barnes painting him on the bottom part.
2 down, and that's Barnes' 2nd strikeout. It is not too late to become a 2018 season ticket member. You can choose from several different packages tailored to fit your busy schedule, and all season ticket members will receive an exclusive Salvador Perez bobblehead along with tons of other benefits. Royals.com/STM for details. And as Joel shared with us in game 1 of the doubleheader, Salvador Perez is getting closer and closer. He had a home run yesterday for AA Northwest Arkansas. He caught that game. He also had a game as the designated hitter.
Be great to have him back in there, you know. This is bat is sorely missed from the right side. Matter of time.
Chesler is 1 for 3 tonight. Still 1-2. Chesler played 3rd in game 1. He is playing at 1st tonight and continues to get more and more comfortable at that position. Two and 2. Right off of Maley's mask.
Oh man. That's a shot.
John Tumpane will slow things down just to make sure Maley's all right.
Yeah, that's like a little punch to the jaw there. Actually, forehead.
Three and two. Ryan Goins is on deck. Chesler is on with a walk with 2 down, so Goins comes up, and so does Joel.
I was talking with Blue Jays manager John Gibbons. I said, what did you like about Ryan Goins? He said he was a fan favorite. We ended up seeing that tonight. He said he was clutch, and the numbers would show that 10 for 14 with bases loaded last year and 20 RBIs. 448 in his career with bases loaded, which kind of is like a former Royal and Blue Jay Pat Tabler, 489 in his career. His nickname, Go-Go, and that describes another characteristic. High energy, and Dan Schulman, their announcer, summed it up this way. Fans liked him best because he was an underdog. And really, that underdog role plays in any city across the country, North America, or the world. This is an underdog. He's an easy guy to root for.
At the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike on Goins.
Also an easy target for Bautista to blame that ball that fell in the playoffs.
Which we found out did not go over very well with Blue Jays fans. Right back to the pitcher, and that's the inning. Stretch time in Toronto. The Royals lead 3-0. Lot of Danny Duffy tonight. He went 6 innings. He only gave up 2 hits, and he struck out 8, and now hands it off to the bullpen in a 3-0 Royals lead. Justin Grimm will get the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Pilar, Diaz, and Grichuk. Our Chevy call to the bullpen.
Stay there. Now down in that strike zone is good. Fastball, big curve. Had some issues with his curveball, His last couple of outings out, it's hung up a little bit there, but you know, he's got good velocity on his fastball. Those two pitches mainly.
Two and one on Pilar, who had one of the two Blue Jays hits against Duffy. He had a single to center field in the 4th inning. Only that and a double from Steve Pearce. Those are the only 2 hits against Duffy. 2-2. And the Blue Jays only really had one legitimate scoring threat against Danny in those 6 innings, and that's when they loaded the bases with 1 out in the 3rd inning, but Duffy got just in smoke to ground into a double play. No swing. In fact, that's the only inning that the Blue Jays got a runner past first base against Duffy.
Grimm has an occasional changeup. He'll use at times. Likes to cut the heater. 3-2 here. Pilar's going to get a fastball.
And a leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. Brings up Aledmys Diaz, the Blue Jays shortstop, and he's in there because of an injury to Troy Tulowitzki. Our University of Kansas Health System injury report. Tulowitzki had bone spurs in both heels and had surgery and only played in 66 games last year because of injuries. Ball 1 on Diaz. He has popped to short and struck out.
This is the time of the game where the Royals have really got to buckle up their bullpen, shore it up, get some outs. Duffy did a nice job handing it over to him. Let's see if Grimm can find that zone.
2 balls and no strikes. It was a concern and a question mark coming out of spring training. The Royals bullpen outside of Kelvin Herrera. And now 3-0. And they are back to work in the Royals bullpen, and they are working quickly. Two on and nobody out. Keller was warming up last inning as Duffy was getting to the Blue Jays in the 6th, so he's back up and now joined by Tim Hill. And this is where a pitching coach makes a chunk of his salary. You do all that work on the side, but there's no live hitter in the box. What are the right words to help a pitcher pull it together in an inning like this?
Well, he's going to say, we need to find the plate. You got to stay down in the zone. Use your defense. Grichuk is a fast runner, but if he hits it hard, we can get out of it with a double player. You can get out of your little jam here. So stay down in the zone and throw strikes. If not, we're going to come get you. Cal came out. He's a nice guy, but I could tell he had a firm, stern look on his face. Look, we need to do something here in this pin to hold our lead here. There's a sense of urgency out there in that pin, and he hasn't been able to throw that for a strike or even get a swing on it. That's one of his best pitches, that curve.
Grichuk is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in this game. In game 1, he had a 3-run home run. And he's missing high with his fastball. He's not missing by much with his fastball, but everything is up. He has not been close with his curveball yet.
No, and if you're Grichuk here after him walking the first 2 hitters, you're probably smart to take. It's not going to hurt you to take a pitch. Make him throw a strike. And you're not going to be given any pitches on the borderline if you've walked the previous 2 hitters.
Right.
That's typically how it is.
Hi,
3-1. Threw a couple of strikes to Pilar, no strikes to Diaz, and then missed with the first 3 to Grichuk. That'll be out of play. 3-2.
Challenge him. Go ahead. Maybe he'll hit into a little double play action.
Popped up. Butera and Cuthbert are over the Royals dugout, and it's in the first row.
It's about the only pitch he can throw right here. He's backed himself into a corner. He does. Has Grichuk swung at the last 2 pitches. He could, drop the curve, but he hasn't been able to throw it for strikes. If he takes it, it's to load him up with nobody out. He's in bad position there. Let's see what Drew puts down.
Bases loaded, nobody out.
Yep.
And that's the last thing Ned wanted to do, go with the veteran and give him a chance in the 7th inning. Ned had been using Grimm in the 8th. And now he goes to a rookie to help bail the Royals out of the bases loaded and nobody out. Brad Keller will face Luke Maley when we come back. have a 3-0 lead, but now because of walks the Blue Jays have the bases loaded, nobody out, and Ned Yost throws Brad Keller into the fire, and he'll get Luke Maile with no room for error.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Hey, look, he has the weapons. You can see so far he's got off to a good start. Go ahead, challenge the hitter. He's got above average fastball. Challenge him. Go right after him. But he started him off with a little slider there. He's got a slider, a changeup to go with it. And that's smart there. It's a good call by Butera. You got to count on Drew to help him through this here. Yeah, it's not what Grimm wanted, obviously, or Ned Yost, but gonna have to help Keller get through it. He's got the stuff. He can just stay on the corners, get a little help with his defense.
0-2. Maile, you can see where he was coming from. After Grimm walked the bases loaded, he figured the rookie's going to come in and try and get ahead with a fastball, so he was swinging no matter what. And a good idea for Drew to have a pitch off the plate.
Exactly.
Still 0-2. Keller gave up his first run on Friday against the Angels. Otherwise, he had started his big league career with 5 scoreless innings. He'll be pitching to Devin Travis, who's going to bat for Ngope. Lined into right field. That's into the corner. 2 runs are home. And the tying run is at third base with nobody out. On an 0-2 pitch.
Okay, now you want to be careful. Nothing too good, and that was too good. That's a mistake there that he didn't want to have. You got a veteran hitter up there shortening up his swing. He's trying to put it in play. That's all he wanted to do, and he did it. So it's a little bit too good. You got to either brush that one in on his hands, knock him off the plate, or throw it away. Can't give it a cookie.
Those runs are charged to Grimm, and he's still responsible for Grichuk at third base. And now Travis bats for Ngope, and a breaking ball is low for ball 1. Devin Travis was 1 for 3 with a run scored in game 1. Two and 0. Grounded. Moustakas dives, and the ball stuck in his glove. He couldn't pull it out of the webbing. And the Blue Jays have tied it. Travis will get an RBI. And there's still nobody out.
Wouldn't you know it? An excellent play by Moose. That's a 2-hopper with topspin on it. Gets up, gets the sure out. Balls gets caught in the webbing of his glove. And that's a big out they needed right there. It just couldn't happen. Didn't happen in time. Certainly a tough moment for Moose. You never want to have to lose an out like that with your equipment. Sometimes it happens, hey, it just got in the wrong spot. But that's why you constantly got to be taking care of your glove and your equipment and making sure that doesn't cost one of your relievers or your ball club an extra run. But hey, look, it is what it is. It was a nice try there. Keller's going to have to regroup here.
And now their leadoff man, Steve Pearce, who is 1 for 3 with a double. So the Royals are going to have to win a game this year for the first time when their opponent scores a run.
They can do it. They'll have to. I mean, it's a long season. They're going to have to win some games, a lot of them that way. They can do it. Just got to get some bullpen situated here. That's one of the things. Duffy had a great start. But now it's up to the pen to help him win.
Two 2-0 on Pearce. So Danny will get a no decision after 6 scoreless innings. Backing out of play, 2-1. This is where the Royals have struggled this season and where the Blue Jays have thrived against bullpens in the later innings. Off of his foot. And apparently he's done that before because he already has the shin and foot guard on that left leg.
Pierce is a good fastball hitter. That's what he likes. He's going to stay short with his swing. As you see, there's more action up in the pit. Better off trying to get him up in the zone, pop him up.
Up the middle. Here's Maley around third, and Toronto has 4 in the 7th inning without making an out.
Good fastball hitter, shorten up his swing. Just like I said, he's looking to do just that. Not try to do too much. Put him in play, and they're doing it. And when you've been having success scoring runs in the 8th and 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, late in games off opponents' bullpens, you know you have a confidence in you, and the come from behind wins.
They have 5, including game 1 of the doubleheader. The Royals had an early 3-2 lead. Blue Jays ended up winning 11-3. One and 1 on Hernandez. He was 0 for 2 with a walk against Duffy.
Count.
1-2.
You know, some of those pitches, you know, especially the 0-2 pitch to Maley, that wasn't a mistake. You can't give him anything to that good. But, you know, you have to credit the hitting at some point. They're shortening up. They're just trying to meet the ball. They're not trying to muscle up, trying to do more than they're capable of doing. And when you have runners out there on board like that, that's what you do. So the approach of the Blue Jays is what you want.
And now Ned's going to go to the bullpen. Justin Smoke, a switch hitter, is coming up. After him, Solarte, a switch hitter, and Ned wants those guys to bat right-handed. It'll be Tim Hill with 2 on and 1 out. Justin Grimm's ERA, but first thing he does is put his arm around the rookie Brad Keller and had words of encouragement for him. So that was a professional thing to do. Instead of wallow in his own misery, he realized he put the rookie in a tough spot. And now Tim Hill comes on with runners at first and second and one out. And Justin Smoak at the plate. And Hill over the outside corner for strike one.
See if Hill can make some pitches on a real good big league hitter here in Smoak. 90 to 93 on his sidearm fastball, slider changeup. Just find a way to get it out. Another out. Maybe he rolls one up.
Two and one on Smoak. The inning began with 3 consecutive walks. And then Ned Yost went to Brad Keller, who got ahead of Luke Maile 0-2. And then Maile hit a 2-run double up the right field line. Devin Travis then hit a ground ball to the left side. Mike Moustakas made a diving play, and the ball stuck in the webbing of his glove, and the Royals were not able to get an out. And then Steve Pearce shortened up and hit a ground ball single into center field. And all that has added up to 4 runs in the 7th inning.
Man,
it is almost impossible for a right-hand batter to hit a ball where Justin Smoak just hit it. He hit that ball directly behind himself, about 3 rows from the top of Rogers Center.
wow. I don't know if I remember ever seeing a ball pulled that much.
And predictably, Smoak said, I'm going to stay back on the next pitch, and he was late and fouled it off to the first base side. And now it's 3-2 on Smoak. Struck him out. 2 down.
Nice location, good spot. But he get in there, get him in swing mode. Good Hill kind of hooks that ball behind him like that, and he comes in, he just whips it in there. Good location down low. Gets the job done.
And here's the 9th man to bat in the inning. Hervé Solarte. Bounces it off the plate. Hill grabs it with his bare hand and throws around Solarte to end the inning. The Royals are down by 1 as they come up in the 8th. Danny Duffy had 6 scoreless innings. He only allowed 2 hits. He struck out 8. Lucas Duda, Mike Moustakas, and Abraham Almonte drove in runs. But the Blue Jays just got 4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. 4 runs on 3 hits. There were 3 walks, and all came around to score. Devin Travis, as a pinch hitter, drove in one of the 4 runs, and now he'll stay in the game at second base. And Ryan Tepera will pitch the 8th. The Royals have Almonte, Escobar, and Butera.
Tepera, he's coming off of a great season from last year, and he's continuing it here. He's got some very effective pitches, 2 of them really. Fastball and a curve, and his fastball's got a little life to it. Low to mid-90s. He's firm. Had a great season last year. Set a lot of career marks in innings and strikeouts. And opponents average and unbelievable. He's had a good year. And the Royals got to find some way.
Fastball riding away from Almonte. Abraham Almonte hit his first home run as a Royal in the 6th inning. Hit it to center field against starter Joe Biagini.
Tepera's aggressive. You can see the movement he had on 96. It's going to be tough if he keeps it on the corners. See how his curve's looking today.
That got Maley. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Looked more like a little slider.
The Blue Jays bullpen has the lowest ERA in the American League, and look at what they've done in the last 10 days, and that includes 4 scoreless innings in game 1 of the doubleheader today, but a 0.78 ERA. And they have not allowed a home run. They have not blown a save as a group. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last year, the Blue Jays rotation had all kinds of injuries, and John Gibbons had to use 14 different starting pitchers, and it took a toll on the bullpen because the Blue Jays bullpen led the league in innings pitched. Two balls, 2 strikes. There's Pete Walker, the Blue Jays pitching coach. And we were telling you in game 1 all of the bullpen problems that the Blue Jays had very early in the season. None so far this year as Almonte fouls it away.
Tepera last year had a 19-inning scoreless inning streak. Pretty impressive. And you could tell by just 2 pitches, when you have that kind of stuff, you can get the job done. Downward breaking slider and heaters away at 96 plus. That's a ground ball out.
Solarte throws out Almonte. Parents, here's a great deal for you and your kids. Sluggers Blue Crew. For just $30, the kids get a Blue Crew jersey, a flat bill, snapback cap, a drawstring bag, 2 compression sleeves, 2 home game ticket vouchers, and more. All that for just $30. Sign up at royals.com/Blue Crew. Outside to Escobar. He is 0 for 3. Two and 0. That is a hard slider slash cutter. Doesn't break much.
No, especially after that 96 in running by. It's got teeth on it. It's got hair, a lot of hair. It's a nasty, hard running, two-seam running fastball. And that sets up the little slider away. They're going to go back in there again.
Man.
Yeah, that's firm. And he's putting it right where he wants it.
I mean, he's got one that's coming in firm and taking a left turn, and then he's got another one even firmer than that, taking a right turn.
So I guess he's earned that setup role there. And it's not going to get any easier next inning either. You have one of the best closers in baseball.
Off the knuckles. Escobar launches it deep to left field and ties the game. And that is the first home run for a right-hand batter this year for the Royals, and boy, did Escobar pick the right time.
I think it's a shock the house, no question about it. That came out of nowhere. Our dodge drive of the game. Jump on a little slider that just spun, and Esky said, you know what? If I catch that just right with an easy level swing, I can touch it. And Escobar, he had a little skip off the plate like he knew it was gone. Boy, that's timely. Nice, out of nowhere. We didn't expect that.
Oh, 2 on Butera.
Okay, look at that. That's easy. He knew it. Watch it. Look at him. Look at him. Little hop. Flip of the bat. Esky knew that was in the 3rd row. Look at that. He put his head down. He said, that felt good. Oh, way to bring some life to the Royals with a late inning homer. Off of a guy with great stuff. Took advantage of one mistake. He got him.
That is a breath of fresh air in the Royals dugout after a 4-run bottom of the 7th inning.
And from the guy you least expected it from.
That's the first blown save for the Blue Jays all year. And now ball 1 on John Jay. Well, Tepera struck out Butera with his slider. Now he throws a good one backdoor to John Jay, and he threw a nasty one to Escobar 2 pitches before the home run, but he hung the slider to Esky, and Esky was ready for it. And the way he was throwing, it'd be easy for a hitter to be kind of in a defensive mode, like, my gosh, this guy's nasty.
Oh, no question.
He was ready.
He was, and he got a little spinner right there and just put a level swing, easy swing.
2-2. Okay, Hud, this is 2 pitches before the home run. That's what he wanted to do. Look at Esky. I mean, he's just fighting to make contact. 2 pitches later.
There it was.
And that target was down and away again.
Yeah, and see, it was just a backed up slider. It didn't do anything. It just spun.
And now John Jay goes to the gap. Hernandez cut it off. Jay is headed for second. He is in there. with a 2-out double. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with 2 down.
Everything's contagious in baseball. Got the right man, right spot coming up now. There's another slider that just kind of stayed up. So some have worked and some haven't. That looked like that just stayed up and backed up a little bit as well. Didn't do much. And Jay placed it properly. Talked about the speed of Hernandez. He can go get him. He cut that ball off and almost got him. Jay was able to get his foot in there just in time. See if Whitley can give him the lead here. Lousy single would do it. Stock is on deck. Grichuk is pretty shallow in right field. A clean base hit to right. I don't know if Jay can score, if Jershely can send him. Pilar in center. He's got a good arm, but you know he's a lot further back. And you might have to, this late in the game, you're gonna have to try to get any kind of run, especially with Osuna down there. Although Osuna look like he's up in the pen. You see how shallow the right fielder is there. He's got a good arm. Grichuk playing Whitley straight up. Every team plays him straight up. No shifting on Whit because he hits the ball where it's pitched.
Nasty pitch.
You know, you're almost better off laying off of that one, looking for that spinner and let's get 2 strikes. But right now with 2 strikes on him, you know, anything close. And if I'm Maley, the catcher, I'm not putting down that slider pitch. I'm gonna stay with his heater.
Chopped out to Diaz. And the inning is over. The Royals tie it. They get their first home run from a right-hand batter. Alcides Escobar ties it at 4. Kansas City is brought to you by Ford. Going further so you can. Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. It opened as Sky Dome in the middle of the 1989 season, the first retractable roof stadium. And in the first full season here, the Blue Jays attracted 3.8 million fans, and then they had at least 4 million the next 3 years.
Wow.
0-2 from Tim Hill to Kevin Pilar. The Royals led 3-0 going into the bottom of the 7th, and the Blue Jays scored 4 to take the lead. And then Alcides Escobar homered with 1 out against Ryan Tepera giving the Blue Jays their first blown save of the year. And now Hill, who closed out the 7th inning, stays on for the 8th. Pilar hits it hard, but the Royals overshift was perfect, and Goins throws out Pilar, 1 down.
Wasn't an easy backhand. That ball was scalded. Goins made that look easy. Ball was just squared up. 2 hopper. Ball came up on him. He's able to catch it in the pocket nicely and made an easy, comfortable throw.
And the Royals will stay in the overshift with Diaz at the plate. I mentioned this earlier in the game. Jerry Howarth, longtime radio announcer for the Blue Jays, 36 years. He retired before this season, said that Ryan Goins was the 2nd best fielding second baseman he saw in those 36 years, second only to Roberto Alomar, who will go down as one of the best defensive second basemen.
That's a great compliment. We saw him in spring training. I was impressed with his fluidity, how he moved, his footwork, his hands. He's got really soft hands, and his throwing arm.
Now Goins going to run back to the right side and throw on the run to get Diaz. 2 down.
His agility. Fluid. I thought he was a great pickup when they got him.
There's Roberto Osuna getting ready for the top of the 9th inning. The Royals will have Moustakas, Duda, and Cuthbert. Randall Grichuk with 2 down. Where's that pitch? All the Royals needed was Hill, Butera, Goins, and Cuthbert in that inning. Tied at 4 to the 9th. Moustakas, Duda, and Cuthbert are coming up. There are our Pepsi fans of the game. Good seats. They got first row seats. They've got their foam fingers. They are hoping for a Blue Jays walk-off victory. The Royals are trying to ruin the Blue Jays night after coming from behind and taking the lead in the 7th inning. The Royals handed Toronto their first blown save, so Roberto Osuna comes on in a non-save situation. 7 games, no earned runs, and he'll get Moustakas, Duda, and Cuthbert.
Yep, they're hardly doing anything off him. Because he's tough. He's low 90s to upper 90s with his fastball. And he's going to challenge you. He'll cut the fastball as well. Slurvy kind of breaking ball, a little curve, and a change if he wants it. pretty confident young pitcher. He's firm. He's had some experience at a young age.
A week ago, he
Good.
became the youngest in Major League history to get to 100 saves. Can you name the pitcher who had been the quickest before him? You saw a lot of him.
Frankie K-Rod.
You got it. Francisco Rodriguez had been the youngest. And then Roberto Osuna a week ago. Moustakas lines it into right center field. He has a 3-hit game.
I'm glad he didn't get that bunt down that he was trying for, and I don't like that. As quickly as he could turn the game around and give them the lead with one swing, nice to see him back out there. And Pierce, right there, is just saying, really? You were trying to bunt? Look at that. He just turned on a heater, using his hands, barely even striding, just picking up his foot, trusting those hands. Moose is scalding hot right now. Squared it up, 108 exit velocity. Below. And when you square up a 95, 94, 98 mile-an-hour heater, ooh, man, it better watch out. That ball comes jumping off. Let's see if Duda can trust his hands. Speaking of handsy hitters.
And that skips away and gets Moustakas into scoring position.
Got an off-speed pitch. Maley couldn't keep it in front of him. Hit right off of his hip. Moose in scoring position. Nobody out. So Duda at least can maybe try to pull him if he can, to make a productive out or get a base hit. Move Moose to third base.
Good swing by Lucas Duda, who has seen Osuna before. He is 0 for 2. Put the ball in play both times.
And that was it. That was his pitch there. That 96 right down the middle. Had a perfect pass on it. I mean, perfect. Just missed it. 21. Just short, little handsy swing. The ball will jump. Let Osuna provide the power.
Two and two.
This is where you slow the game down as best you can. Duda doesn't have to worry about that. Real calm demeanor, very calm disposition. There's
all that heat.
Yeah.
And then he took 12 miles an hour off that pitch.
Yeah. I mentioned he had a changeup when he wants to use it. Perfect timing there.
Coming up on Friday, Fox Sports Kansas City will bring you another doubleheader, a day-night doubleheader. The Royals at the Tigers, and Sporting KC will be playing Vancouver. We'll be on Fox Sports Kansas City. Sporting KC on Fox Sports Kansas City Plus. Our coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. for the day game, 5:30 for the night game. Sporting KC's coverage will begin at 7:30 on Friday. 2-0 on Cuthbert.
Cuthbert's got to be looking for the fastball here. He had 96 away, 95 in. Maybe he'll leave him a cookie in the middle. Predictable. Fastball count. Maley gave him the slider. Still got to look heater off of this guy and adjust.
2-2.
That 96 that's boring in to a right-handed batter, you can't square that up. You can't get around on it. You're fouling off your leg just like you did.
Cuthbert back to Osuna. Now he's got Moustakas in a rundown, who will try and stay in as long as he can. So the Blue Jays get the out, and they take a runner out of scoring position.
Osuna with a nice heads-up play there. Look, you know what? Moose kind of got out in the middle, and had he kept going to third, that would have forced Osuna to throw the ball to third or just take the easy out. But Moose stopped, and then he said, "I'll get you. I'll take you."
Upstairs to Goins. So a runner at second, nobody out, has turned into a runner at first and 2 down. Goins is 0 for 4. One ball, one strike.
You know, and it's so hard if you're Moose at second base. You want to see the ball by the pitcher for sure, but you want to get a jump too and try to score. So he just got caught off. That's all that happened. It's going to happen.
It is 4-4 in the 9th inning. But one number that cannot be overlooked is that the Royals have left 10 runners on base. Still 1-2. The Blue Jays have left just 6 runners on base. Popped up. And Diaz makes the play. So a promising start. Osuna pitches around a runner at second and nobody out. And now the Royals are stranded 11.
but will it stand up? All tied, bottom of the ninth. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live, when we will talk about a dominant Danny Duffy. And now, who will be the hero in this one? We've seen some firsts tonight. First blown save of the year by Toronto. First right-handed home run by a Royal. But can they hold it up here and win in extra innings? We shall see. We'll talk about it coming up on Boulevard Royals Live.
All right, Joel, here's Kevin McCarthy in a tie game in the bottom of the ninth. He was called up for the Angels series when Brandon Maurer was sent back to the minor leagues and had that one appearance, scoreless inning on 6 pitches.
Yeah, heavy sinker, downward action to his fastball, low to mid 90s. Slider change, curve. He's got all 4 pitches, mainly hard sinker slider. Luke Mainley making the best of his opportunity in game 2. Oh man, watch out for that.
It's all right.
Slip.
No harm done, and who knows, maybe the batter's a little more uncomfortable in the box.
Yeah. You hope.
Yeah, Maley got a big hit in that 4-run 7th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. See, you throw it over the guy's head, and then he takes a fastball right down the middle on the next pitch.
That'll do it. It'll get you a little nervy, a little jumpy. I don't play mind games with you.
1 away.
Nicely done.
Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. Here's Devin Travis, who came on as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and drove in one of the 4 runs. And a slider is in for a strike from McCarthy.
It's all Ned wants. Somebody coming out of that pin, pound the strike zone, lower half of the zone. Fill it up. Pressure the hitters, use the D.
He did not go around. That's Ron Kulpa, the first base umpire and crew chief.
But Tom Payne called him Ronnie. We hear everything down there tonight. I like the field mics down there.
2-1.
Good spot.
Ronnie needs to hold that no swing position a little bit longer so that we can show it to our viewers back home.
I'll mention it to him tomorrow.
Wide open on the right side. Travis is on with 1 out. So McCarthy got the ground ball, but the Royals were expecting him to pull it.
I mean, that's a swung over shift for a guy that's not a power hitter. But you know what? You win some of them, you lose some of them. Power hitter, I can understand a pull shift over like that, but a guy like him, I think that's
bat control guy.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit overkill, if you ask me. That's just me, my thinking. Maybe a little old school, but got a sinker baller on the mound, ground ball.
Ryan Goins just left the field. So it could have damaged his glove and ran in and got a backup. I don't think that was enough time to go to the bathroom.
No.
So I imagine it was an equipment change. 1 on 1 out for Steve Pearce. There you go. Didn't like what happened to his glove on that throw in with the game on the line in the bottom of the 9th inning. Wanted to make sure he had a fully functioning glove. Ouch. That ball may have hit Pierce if he didn't swing at it.
That is right on his knuckles. Wow. Boy, he's lucky. Look at that hard sinker came in there. Man, he's lucky just got a piece of that. Wow. But you know what? I commend Goins for going in, running in and getting it. He knew where his glove was. If you're out in the field and you're making motions saying, hey, my glove's broke, no one knows where your glove is, your extra glove. He knew, he ran in, got it, and came back out. Saved time, really. Because you're not changing gloves very often in the middle of a game.
Pass Escobar and into left field. Travis is going to run on John Jay, and he's in there.
Pierce had a little bit of top spin on there. There's no way else he could get it. Travis trying to push the envelope. He did. Safely into third.
And now the Blue Jays are going to pinch hit. Curtis Granderson has been announced into the game. And as soon as that happened, Ned Yost popped out of the dugout. And he's going to call on Kelvin Herrera to get this game to the 10th inning. And then when Pierce singled to left, he went first to third. So that's the winning run at third. And Ned Yost, needing a strikeout here, goes to Kelvin Herrera, who has not pitched since Thursday.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but I tell you, Travis, you can really put a star on that extra base there. He made this a walk-off potential right here by just taking that extra base.
That's low. Pierce takes second base. No stolen base. The Royals have the infield in. They have the outfield in. Each outfielder is in a position where they feel strong enough to catch a fly ball and throw out a runner at the plate. 2-0.
Herrera 97 to 98 with his fastball. Change-ups around 88. Got a nice slider, but he's kind of stayed away from the slider so far early this season. Staying mainly fastball. Granderson knows what he's got to do.
2 balls, 1 strike. So those zones, if you're the hitter, from the green and beyond, with the speed of the runner at third and the arm strength of the outfielder, the green and beyond, odds are in favor of the hitter. From the red in, the odds are in favor of the fielder. And then there's that yellow, which is like the gray area, foul off the right field line. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Even though McCarthy got a strikeout to begin his outing tonight, he is much more of a contact pitcher, and Ned Yost, with the winning run at third and 1 out, needed a strikeout pitcher. Still 2-2. That came in at 99.
Granderson did all he could. He knows with 2 strikes on him and a strikeout pitcher up, he can't afford to take anything too close. He's got to expand the zone a little bit. Herrera maybe could get him on a pitch up in the zone. Blow it by him. Along with that, could get a pop-up.
Ooh. Called, 3rd strike. So the Royals needed a strikeout, and they got a strikeout.
And that might be the first slider we've seen from Herrera all year. Okay, there's a changeup, little pitch sequence here. 97, 88. I got a little 88 again.
That was the pitch of Granderson.
Yeah, change up to 89. So Herrera really working the speeds with the combination. There's the first yak. Look at that. Nice little slider, beautifully placed. It locked him up.
So 2nd and 3rd, 2 down, and now it's Herrera and Justin Smoke. Changeup is low. Smoke is 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts. He had a walk back in the 1st inning. One ball, 1 strike. Justin Smoke has seen Kelvin Herrera 6 times before tonight, and he is 0 for 4 with 2 walks. Kelvin has struck him out twice.
Be careful with that changeup now out over that plate. Make sure if that pitch is down, it's got to stay out of the zone. 98 there.
Two and two. A swing like that on that fastball. There's no reason to throw him anything but a fastball here, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He's got to stay with the heater. If you slow anything down, it speeds his bat up. And he had a great rip on a 89-mile-an-hour changeup earlier in the count.
And we don't diminish the importance of that block. Drew Butera with the winning run at 3rd base.
That's right.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Solarte, a switch hitter, is on deck. Changeup struck him out. So Kelvin Herrera comes on with runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out, and gets back-to-back strikeouts.
Put the fire out. Nice job. the game's been pretty good so far. It's all knotted up. But I can tell you what, Ned got into a little jam there, and he said, you know what, we need a strikeout in the worst way. He got it on pinch hitter Granderson. Nicely thrown. And then he goes to the off-speed 3-2 pitch to Smoke, which would have loaded him up had he walked him, and he got the big strikeout. So let's see if Almonte can get something going here after Kelvin Herrera put out the fire for Ned. All tied at 4. Clippard's in. Tyler Clippard, he's funky. He's got a great changeup. That's his best pitch. He'll set that up with a fastball.
And he starts Almonte off with a changeup. The Royals in the top of the 9th had a runner at second base and nobody out. And then the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th had runners at first and third and 1 out. Changeup, and it's 1-1 on Almonte.
I mean, his changeup is so good, he could throw that in almost any pitch, anytime, all of them. He's got a fastball, low 90s, a curveball, besides the change.
1-2. Two and 2 on Almonte. Alcides Escobar is on deck. And then Drew Butera.
Royals want to battle. They got to do anything they can to get guys on, get them over, get them in. Been tough for them all year long as far as runners in scoring position. Left 11 men on base so far in this game too now, and that's got to change. They've got to figure out a way to get that winning run home and then to save it.
Travis to the middle. Almonte is out, number 1. And Alcides Escobar, and we are here in the 10th inning because of Escobar with 1 out in the 8th.
Man, Tepera had done nothing but deal. He had a great fastball going at 96 and then a wicked slider. Made one mistake with that slider and left a little spinner, a little backup slider over the middle of the plate. Esky booked him for his first home run of the year, and first by a right-handed batter this season for the Royals. Nice.
Fastball over the outside. It was the Royals' first home run from a right-hand batter. No balls, 2 strikes. Royals had 276 at-bats from a right-hand batter before Escobar's home run. And if you go back to the beginning of 2000, only one team had gone longer than the Royals. And now Escobar has a base hit on an 0-2 pitch. Only the 2008 Minnesota Twins went longer to begin the season without getting a home run from a right-hand batter.
Yeah, look, it's a long time, and this is a big league team. There's no doubt about it. They're missing Salvi, but look, at least Escobar got his in an opportune time. Now he got a hit off of Clippard's changeup, and that's nice. Clippard, that's what he throws. I mean, it's a floater, very deceptive, coming out of the 6'4" Tyler Clippard. Long arms, long legs, very deceptive.
Escobar runs, and it's grounded out to Pierce. So 2 down, and the Royals get a runner into scoring position.
Not a bad idea. but just couldn't find a hole. Hit and run, hitter's supposed to swing no matter what, and he had the right idea. Second baseman Travis was covering, so he vacated the hole there, and Drew tried to hit it, just couldn't quite do it. It's not as easy as it looks. I'd like to hit it over there, but at least he got him into scoring position that way. It stayed out of a double play.
They're talking about what they want to do with John Jay, left-hand batter with an open base and a right-hand hitter on deck in Whit Merrifield. Royals are 1 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position. Way upstairs. And the one hit the Royals got with a runner in scoring position tonight did not produce a run. One ball, one strike.
It's a great pitch.
Clippard was the losing pitcher for the Mets in Game 4 of the World Series when that ball was misplayed by Daniel Murphy at second base, and the Royals rallied to come back and win that game 5-3. 1-2. And that Royals fan is reminding that Mets fan. Oh, that's a Blue Jays fan. Two disappointed fans from 2015 right there.
Yeah, it is, but it's what the Royals have the same sweatshirt, different logo. Take October. We did. Thank you.
Two and two. John Jay has been on base 4 times with a single. He's been hit by a pitch. He has walked and he has doubled. The only time he made an out tonight, he lined out to left. And that was on an 0-2 pitch. He's been a good hitter for the Royals this year with 2 strikes.
He's got a good AB going here. Let's see if he can get a pitch that he can handle and shoot it in the gap somewhere or down the line. Making it a no-brainer to score Eski.
Blooped up the left field line. It is caught by Granderson. So another runner is stranded in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 10th. door. That's anytime he steps on the field. But Major League Baseball is being played in his native Puerto Rico. And of course, he hits a home run. That gave the Indians a 2-0 lead. Cleveland leads 6-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and what a celebration in Puerto Rico. The Indians and the Minnesota Twins. Carlos Beltran, former Royal, Puerto Rican, throughout the first pitch. Minnesota also has one of the brightest young pitchers in our division. Jose Barrios is from Puerto Rico. Here's Brian Flynn for the bottom of the 10th inning. And he almost hits Solarte on the foot. Flynn is the 7th Royals pitcher in this game.
Flynn fastball, slider, changeup. Low 90s. Firm, likes to get those outs to right-handed batters with that slider that comes down into their back leg. Solarte, he's hacking. He's an aggressive hitter. You want to swing at that.
Danny Duffy went 6 scoreless. Justin Grimm gave up 3 runs in the 7th. Brad Keller allowed a run in the 7th. And then Tim Hill an inning and 2/3. Kevin McCarthy 1/3. Kelvin Herrera 2/3. That's line to right, and Whit Merrifield runs it down on the warning track.
Great jump on contact by Whitley. Solarte thought he had extra bases until he looked up and saw one of the best athletes in baseball track that ball down. It doesn't matter where you put him. He'll make the play for you. Nicely done. He's got skills.
Now strike on Kevin Pillar. He reached with a leadoff walk in the 7th inning, and that turned into a 4-run inning. 0-2. Royals had a 3-0 lead going into the bottom of the 7th. And the first 6 Blue Jays reached and 4 scored, and then the Royals tied it in the 8th on a home run by Alcides Escobar. Moustakis and into left field. Pillar is on with 1 out.
Pillar knew they was going to try to get him down and in, and he just turned on one right by Moose. Good try. Like the turn at first base by Pillar, you had to stop him. He wants to think at second base all the way on that. Good play by Jay to get it in.
And now Ledmus Diaz. So the Royals are confronted here with what they had last inning, and that's 1 on, 1 out. And rather than have the infielders at your traditional double play depth, Royals are going to overshift way over to the left and leave that right side wide open. So anything to the left side, the Royals have pretty well guarded, but any ground ball to the right could put the winning run at third base with 1 out. The Royals, they wanted to get another look at that pickoff play over at first base, but they have elected not to challenge. And Diaz was taking a shot at the right side and fouls it away. As we discussed earlier, it makes for a very difficult double play unless the ground ball is hit right to Ryan Goins, and then he can run to second base and throw to first, which he has already done tonight, and that's a moot point as Pilar moves up to second base on a wild pitch.
Yep, Drew's doing all he can to stay in front of that slider that Flynn's been burying. Yeah, it's just a little bit too close to the hitter's toes, and Drew couldn't quite square it up, keep it in front. But they're going to pass him intentionally and put him on. Diaz set up another possible double play.
Grichuk is 0 for 3, but like Diaz and Pilar before him, he walked and scored in the 4-run 7th inning. Good pitch in on his hands. 0-1. Back with the same pitch. Grichuk wouldn't go for that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Drew Butera liked the location. Good sequence there where you get Grichuk to chase a pitch in, so you try and go a little farther inside on him. One and 2. Butera pulls it out of the dirt, and they almost got Pilar making a move toward third.
But he hit him. Hit his feet or hit him somewhere. It's going to load him up. Barely hit the top of his foot.
Hit by pitch is reviewable. And the Royals, after taking another look at it, agree with home plate umpire John Tumpane, and they will not review it.
Well, you know, that left foot there, it looked like it glanced off the top, and that's a tough angle to see it right there. But Butera did a nice job of keeping it in front. He knew the slider was coming. Let's see. Hard to tell. Those patent leather shoes, though, there might be a mark on them. As shiny as those things are. Let's see this better angle here. Might have just clipped him up to the big toe on the left foot.
And the umpire at that speed really can't see that. He's listening for the sound as the pitch comes in.
You can't see that.
So bases loaded, 1 out. And Mealy swings over a slider. Blue Jays had runners at first and third and 1 out, and then second and third and 1 out, and Ned Yost brought in Kelvin Herrera, and he struck out Granderson and Smoke. And now in the 10th inning, they have the bases loaded, 1 out. Base hit right field. Luke Mealy, the Blue Jays backup catcher, got a big hit in the 7th inning, which eventually led to the Blue Jays taking the lead. And now in the bottom of the 10th, he gets his 2nd hit of the game. He drives in Pilar from third, and the Blue Jays sweep a doubleheader from the Royals today. 11-3 in game 1, 5-4 in 10 innings in game 2.
Oh man, you know, that was just great hitting there. That ball is down below his knees, not even a strike, and Mealy's being aggressive going with the pitch. That's the second time he's went with a pitch tonight, and he's picked up some ribbies earlier, and this is the game winner. Look at that, nice swing, good control of his body. Tough loss for the Royals.
Both wins for the Blue Jays were come from behind wins. We'll be right back.